In this video, I'm gonna share with you the business I just bought here in the Dominican Republic for $7,000, including why I did it, the business structure, and everything I've learned about doing business here. Let's start with a quick tour, and then I'll give you all the details. As you enter the studio, you come to the front desk where there'll be a receptionist waiting in this nice little area. If there's too many people here, which I hope there are, we've got couches here as well as over here. And this one is lined up nicely on the television so you can see whatever the heck happens to be on TV. Over here is the best looking part of the whole thing. Hey, it's me! Okay, that was weird, but it was fun. Of course, this is air conditioned as we walk into what will become the main part of the studio. We're gonna go upstairs in a second. I'm gonna show you in here first. I believe these will be dressing rooms for any changes. If you have a photo session that you're doing here and you're getting a change. There's another couch over there, so maybe a little bit more seating. And this area in general will be used as a lobby area, but also where some photos can be taken. Now, in here is the main studio being built currently. And you can see, this goes all the way up. Tons of room in here. And it's got different props and areas. A little telephone booth thing there. So, you can see wedding photos or graduation photos or whatever. And look at this thing. An old phonograph. Pretty cool. All these different things that are in here as he's getting this place ready. Now, coming up through here, going upstairs, we'll run up with you here. Want to be careful. But you will have a few different rooms up here. Right now, there's some storage where you can see Christmas photos or Christmas video for you. We have all the stuff right here to do that. And there's this room that will eventually become a studio space. Over here will be a kids studio space. So think kindergarten photos, family pictures, that sort of thing. And in here will be a full service podcast studio. Really, really cool. Awesome looking spot. The studio is situated in the northern part of Punta Cana, right next to IMG Hospital, in this really cool little plaza next to a kids' daycare center. And look, I had no interest in buying or building a podcast studio, and I'm honestly really not even doing it. But let's sit down on this lovely couch right here, and I'll tell you the whole story and all the details. All right. Look, the objective of this video is not just to hear my story. I want you to learn from it for yourself if you're thinking about buying, building, opening a business down here in Dominican Republic. I'm gonna teach you everything I've learned, and as this studio progresses and opens and starts doing business, I know I'm gonna learn more, and I'll come back and teach you that as well. But here's the story. This guy right here you may have seen in some of my other videos if you've been following me a little bit. His name is Eric Jeffers, and he's been my exclusive videographer as long as I've been here in Punta Cana. He has a lot of background and experience in the space, most recently doing wedding videography, family photos, beachfront pictures, and then following a gringo around the Dominican Republic and doing episodes of Grub with Gruber like this one or this one. Oh, he just got here and there's lights. There he is right there. Say hi.
Hello.
So he's the guy. He's the one that's been doing everything. Now, when you work with people, you get to know them. You build a relationship with them. And one thing I know about this guy, he's got a huge heart. But I also learned about even more of his history. Pre-COVID, he had a full-service studio like this one in San Pedro. And he was doing 10,000 US a month in San Pedro. If you know Dominican Republic, you know the difference between San Pedro and Punta Cana, meaning the opportunity here is much bigger. But that's not why I put the money in. After COVID cleaned him out on the studio in San Pedro, he's been working to rebuild himself ever since. And this dude hustles and grinds, but no matter what, no matter how stressful, no matter how much or little money he's making, always got a big smile on his face, and he always wants to do amazing work and over-deliver. And man, I resonate with that. My objective is always to over-deliver for whoever I'm serving. So on a drive recently, he told me about this idea. He wanted to go all in on his own studio here in Punta Cana. A unique space, really unmatched anywhere in this area. And he went about building it. Then he shared that he was a little bit short of getting everything taken care of, and I asked how I could help. When it came down to it, he was about $7,000 short of finishing the studio. The build out, including the rent, the lease, and all the stuff that it takes to get a business off the ground. And I'll be honest with you, I just said, I'll give you $7,000. Now, there was no plan, there was no contract, it was nothing. For me, it was just, hey, this guy has done a ton. I love who he is and I want to invest in him. Not like I got $7,000 just laying around like no biggie, but I knew one way or another that $7,000 would be a good investment. Now, when I gave him the money, he said, look, I want to figure out what do we do with this? How do we structure structure the transaction of the 7,000. And I said, look, I'm gonna give you 3 options. We'll line them up right here. So number 1, I could be a customer. So to me, that means I just fronted $7,000 for video services. And you know what? Give me $8,000 in services in return. Video services, people. This isn't Sosua, or what Sosua used to be. Customer, option 1. Option 2 right here is I could be a lender. So here's the 7,000. When you get yourself to a place that you can, figure out how you want to pay it back and pay me back 8,000 or 7,500 or whatever. Just something a little bit more than 7,000, so it's a little bit of interest back for me. So option 2, lender. Or I said, there's option 3, which is I could be a partner. And to be honest with you, when I said that to him in that moment, I was like, partner. Well, what good would that be to him? But he quickly said, that's the one I want. And when I asked why, he said, look, I've had a business, I did well with it, but from the conversations you and I have about business, he said, I need the knowledge, the mentorship, the structure, I need help with that part, so I'd much rather be a partner. And then I got to thinking, well, look, I've got this brand, right? I've got this audience that I reach both on Instagram and on TikTok and here on YouTube. And I guess, I could bring a marketing element to this business to help drive traffic to it. So we went about structuring it. And here's exactly how. I asked him first, what's the total outlay that you've had to put out, including the 7,000 I'm giving you to get this studio up and running? So total startup cost. And he said it's about $50,000. Makes sense to me based on what he's building. I went with it. So then I did the math. 7,000 out of 50,000 is 14%. So from a business structure perspective, at least that percentage is what I would say my share of ownership is. But to make it easy and round and to account for the fact that I can really use my brand to market and push this. I mean, look, I'll be honest, I see me hosting social media training for local businesses because I see what they do on Instagram and YouTube, and it's just all advertisements. Dominican businesses just want to pump their stuff to you, and they don't know how to put content out without asking for anything in return, or even putting content out, adding value, and then only asking for a little bit in return. So I'd love to teach more businesses here how to use social media in today's age. So anyway, when I consider the financial investment of $7K plus my ability to market, I said, let's just round it up. My share is 20%. However, I had a few conditions for him that he agreed to. Number 1 is it has to be my accountant, my bookkeeper. He'll admit himself, he's a creative. As am I, but at least I know how to structure a business. And with him being the majority partner, 80%, I want to make sure that my people are managing the books. I think that's a fair trade. Protects me, protects my wife, and I know me, I know my heart. I'm not somebody that's going to screw him. Second, 20% will be of gross revenue monthly paid to me. That just makes it clean and easy. However, there's a caveat to that. I only start taking that 20% after the studio makes enough money to cover expenses and pays for he and his family to live well. We've established that number, and from my perspective, I'll get my 20% later. Honestly, if I ever get it. More than anything for me, all I want is to help a friend get his business off the ground and then do it in a way that's the least risky way possible for me. Now you might wonder, well, how is it not risky for you? Let me explain that. All right, so here's some lessons about business that I'm learning in the Dominican Republic that I'll teach you. Number 1, have a great attorney. I talked to my attorney, and the couple questions I had were around, hey, what's my exposure? What's my liability? What if Eric gets us into a ton of debt that I don't know about? And he was able to explain to me how we could contractually structure this. For instance, we'll have language in the contract that says that I need to approve any debt that we take on as a partnership. And absent my approval, I have no responsibility for that debt. So in other words, if Eric says to me, I want to take $20,000 in debt to do this, and I say, no, I don't agree with that, but he does it anyway, it's on him personally if things go wrong. Or even worse, which I never would anticipate happening, if he just did it without me knowing, again, I didn't approve it, therefore I don't have a personal responsibility for that. Second, the investment cap is here at $7,000. That's my risk. But when you think about what that risk is, even if the studio doesn't perform to the level that we think it can, at the end of the day, that's $7,000 worth of services that I'll absolutely use from a videography perspective, since I create content and Eric's my guy to do it. So you see, from my perspective, the risk level is very low and the upside is moderate to high. But in the end of the day, I completely understand my role versus his. It's his show, it's his shop, it's his studio. I provide capital, marketing, and a little bit of mentorship, along with the accounting and bookkeeping. So look, if this place does $200,000 a year and he's getting paid well, then I'll make $40,000 off of it. But here's what's even more important, and it's a lesson I learned from attending an event for GoBundance. Now you might be wondering, what is a GoBundance? Well, GoBundance is the community that I own back in the United States. It's my primary source of income. It's an entrepreneur group for millionaire men, and GoBundance Emerge is that same entrepreneur entrepreneur group if you're not yet at $1 million a year. And when you're around big thinkers like that, you learn big lessons. And here was one of them. When you're in business and you're paying a vendor consistently, that is a pure expense. A better play is own the vendor, eliminate your expense, and actually profit from it. So when I look at those two things, eliminate the expense and profit from it, buying into this business eliminates the expense for me. We've agreed that the normal stuff that I do is part of the studio work. I'm a partner, I'm an owner, so he and I will do my content that we do normally, no more, as part of the studio expense. So no longer am I paying him. Instead, my objective is to make money, make him more money, and therefore eventually make me money. But if this part never happens, the making money, this part is pretty much covered, unless he dies, I guess, meaning I'll get services. And in the end, if nothing works, it's 7 grand. We're not talking massive money here. So that's the business. That's what it looks like. That's how I'm handling it. Now, here are some lessons that I've learned about doing business in the Dominican Republic already, with many more lessons to be learned, don't get me wrong. All right, number one is business structure. There are really 2 ways we could go about this. We could simply sign a contract that says, hey, it's your thing, pay me 20% of what you take in. Then that 20% would be subject to tax at the current rate here in the Dominican Republic, and I would simply pay taxes on the income I earn contractually with the studio. The other option is to open an SRL, or a company. An SRL is essentially a Dominican LLC, and this is the option we went with for a few reasons. Now, from a tax structure perspective, here's the benefit of an SRL, and there are downsides, but I'll just share the benefits right now. Number one, my 20%, if I'd rather not take income, I could bring associated business expenses and lay it on the business. So look, cell phone, car expense, health insurance, those sorts of things that I pay for on my own, I could put on the business instead as my 20%. It writes down the taxable income of the business, and I'm not taxed on an income because I'm just simply writing legitimate expenses off against the business. Second, an SRL is a liability protection. So in the event that there is some sort of liability, we've got the entity there to protect us. And third is, this guy's got a big vision. The studio in Punta Cana is phase 1, but as it grows and gets bigger, we're talking about him potentially getting contracts with resorts, partnering with wedding and event planners, doing video services for large real estate groups, so on and so on. If you're gonna do that, you wanna have a structure, a business entity. You wanna have a professional front, not just be some sort of one-off guy freelancing without it being an official business. Now look, on the other end of that, you've got employee taxes and some other things that you have to consider for sure. So there's not like, oh, this is an easy decision. But again, I like to align with people who are like me. We both think big, and he's thinking big about what this project can be. Second, in the Dominican Republic, you file taxes every month. It's like in the US, it's a pain in the ass already to do an annual filing, an annual tax return. And here you really have to do something like that pretty much every month. Again, a bookkeeper and an accountant and paying for them, which is gonna cost $100 to $200 a month, US, is the best way to make sure you're on top of it. In addition, this opens up the opportunity for us to use something called comprobante fiscal, which essentially means that the taxes you pay on business-related expenses are write-offs against your income with the business. So we take a client to lunch, we get a receipt for paying for that lunch, we could get a comprobante fiscal to make that a full write-off against our tax burden. Look at that. Jeffrey Studios, everybody. The third thing is that the cost to get a business off the ground here is much less than what you pay in the United States. $50,000 is not nothing, that's a lot of money. But to lease a full studio space, build it out, and put all of this equipment in it in the United States is probably 4 to 5 times that initial investment. So as I project forward on doing business and living here in DR, expense becomes a variable that I think is very attractive here. And look, I'm learning a ton all at the same time. I bought land in Miches. I bought an apartment in Cortecito as an Airbnb. That'll be done sometime in early 2026. We just bought our house and got a mortgage here in Punta Cana. And now, a business. I thought about what all of that meant, because on the surface it looks like and feels like it's moving fast. But this is a key piece of business in DR that I've learned and I've talked about before, and now I'm really experiencing my own words for the first time. This business came because of being here. A lot of people ask me, like, Jamie, what's a great business to start in DR? And I always say, man, you know what? I don't know. I mean, there's options. Like, I'd love an automatic car wash here, but I don't know if the market wants that. But one thing I do know is this is a very much face-to-face culture for business. And what that means is you really can't know with clarity the right business opportunities unless you're here networking. It's one of the features of DR that I love the most. It's a face-to-face in-person culture. Sometimes that gets annoying when it's in person when it doesn't need to be, but that's the American in me. Don't waste my time. But otherwise, this opportunity came because I'm here and I'm networking and I'm interacting with people and I see the potential in it. And then I calculate my own risk and determine, is $7,000 worth it for me and my family to lay out there and not use for other things, but the potential of what this can be. And to be honest with you, it is. To be even more honest with you, it isn't even about what it can be for me. But if Eric has a studio that pays him and I get to just have my videography services included, that's cool with me. Look, it might be tough to believe, but I actually really enjoy simply talking about this country and helping out businesses like this one because it fills my heart and soul. At 35, that wouldn't have made sense. At 47, I'm at that phase in life where legacy and impact are more important than income. But maybe even more importantly, I'm learning that impact equals income. And boy, without getting into too many weeds here, with the disruption of AI coming, the ability to make an impact and add value in order to generate income is even more important. In fact, I just did a video for the Inner Circle about how AI can get you to the Dominican Republic within 3 years if you understand some really key principles and align with this key phrase. Stop chasing passive income, start chasing massive income. Every reel that you see me do on a restaurant or a business that I promote here is not only not paid, but in almost every case, I've paid to patronize that restaurant. I just like sharing. And you know what I've learned? That translates to some of you joining the Inner Circle, which the link is below if you want to check it out. Some of you use the attorney or the realtor referral I make. Hey, some of you might even use this business. But the point is, the more I lean into impact, like helping Eric and getting the studio off the ground, the more my finances and my income seems to take care of itself. All that is to say, I'm truly excited about this. And I can honestly tell you, when I met my wife 15 years ago, actually 16 years ago, and only knew that the Dominican Republic was a place that produced baseball, but couldn't point to it on a map, if you told me a decade and a half later I'd not only be living here, but owning here, and even known for living here, wouldn't have taken that bet. Putting up the sign right now. And as we talk, my guy stumbled in. What say you, my friend? You excited?
Yes, of course, I am. Very excited. Yeah. This is gonna be big.
Notice he has
something really nice.
Notice he has a Yankee hat on too. So another point of alignment that we have. What do you envision in the next year or two? What do you see this going?
Woo, wow. I can tell I'm a crazy guy. I think big. So what I see, there's no way how I can describe what I'm feeling, what I think we're gonna do in here in this place. So can't wait to see what the future holds for us.
What's the best way for people to reach out to the studio to start booking something?
We're gonna be open to everything, anything, anyway. Follow the page. Let us know what you need, anything you want. We can do any kind of video, commercials, podcasts, photos, professional pictures. This is what it is, Jeffrey Studios. And please let us know anything you'd like to have from us.
I'll drop the Instagram right here at Jeffrey Studios. You can go there, DM Eric, and he'll make sure to get you booked. Do you have any messages in Spanish for our Dominican followers?
I forgot to speak in Spanish, but I know, I'm kidding. No, señores, vamos a estar muy pronto abiertos aquí, los vamos a esperar con los brazos abiertos y nada, solo prometerle que vamos a darle lo mejor de nosotros.
Ya tú sabes.
Ya tú sabes que es lo que, manito.
You want to check out something really cool that I was able to put together for you right here? Check out that video right here. Again, DR Inner Circle, jump in. Come see Jeffrey Studios when you're down here. Get your photos, get your video, whatever it might be. Really excited about this. I'll take you along on this journey and teach you more as I learn it. I'll see you on the next one.